is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
Monday, August 30th, 2021, season 17, episode number 14. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We are fresh off the Cowboys' final preseason game where they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so now we can just start pointing ourselves toward the opening of the season. It is, a week and 3 days before the Cowboys begin the season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa, the reigning Super Bowl defending champions, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So what we're going to do on today's show is we're going to spend most of the show trying to break this down as far as the 53-man roster. Tomorrow, the Cowboys, I think by 4 p.m. Eastern time, the Cowboys have to get their roster down to 53. But we're going to go ahead and do that for them today, and we will send our official list over to Will and his group and let them know what the break thinks they should do as far as their final.
Will McClay?
Will McClay, yes.
William
Will
Boykins.
McClay. Good. Not William Boykins. Will McClay. We're going to send it over. I'm just going to say, hey, you did us a solid on the documentary.
Yeah.
So we're going to do you a solid on the 53, and we're going to call it even.
Make this easy on you.
Absolutely.
You guys take the rest of the day off.
Exactly.
You deserve it.
We've been watching practice. We got a good idea of what should happen with this team.
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't have a good idea.
You don't?
This. No, I don't think I've said this several times. I don't think we've learned one thing about this football team since we got to training camp, except for the fact that CeeDee Lamb is a baller. What else have we
haven't learned about Micah Parsons that we know he's going to be the best linebacker on this team?
Okay.
We haven't learned that?
But what does that mean?
Well, it means he's going to be the best linebacker.
was the best linebacker for 1 year.
But that means he's going to be the best linebacker on this team.
Okay. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Darren Hambrick was the best linebacker 1 year. I mean, what does that necessarily mean? I think, his arrow was pointed up. He looks every bit like the first-round pick and all that. I'm just saying there's a lot of question marks. We do our 20 questions thing, and I don't know if we've really answered a lot of them, but that's okay.
That's I love that you're the Debbie Downer.
I was about to say he's not usually the pessimistic guy.
He's right though. He's right, and this is a wonderful chance to just reset it. Because everything we just saw, good and bad, means next to nothing now. It really does. Yeah. It's like you're all bubbling. You're ready to go.
This last month and a half.
No, we didn't waste anything. But we've done this before, where we get back from training camp and Byron Jones is the next All-Pro. He's the next All-Pro safety.
Yeah.
Byron Jones, Xavier Woods. These are the things that I can't stop thinking about.
Collins. Yep.
I'm with you.
Micah Parsons had an incredible training camp. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to have an incredible season.
Very true.
And it's not trying to be a downer. I have a lot of opinions about what we saw over the last month, but now it's put it to work, put it to use, make it count.
I mean, Randy Gregory looks like he's ready to take that next level. Dorrance Armstrong had a really good camp from what we saw, and so there are some things out there. I mean, Dalton Schultz when he's healthy, but the thing about it is because Dak got hurt when he did. And then Amari came back when he did, and it seemed like the tackles were kind of in and out, and Zach sometimes and not. We just never really saw the whole offense together. Zeke never got a carry. Has he fixed his fumbling problems? I mean, who knows? Who knows until the first time Tampa Bay is trying to strip at it, And so I'm saying,
the 20th time, right?
Not just the first time.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
So, is Dak back from the ankle? I mean, is he taken off yet? No, he's still got the shoulder. So there's just I'm glad we're here. I'm just saying it's hard to really know what are we looking at here.
There can only be 3 teams in the league right now where the podcasts that talk about said team aren't just excited and raring to go. Everybody saw some stuff that got them excited during training camp, except for Houston,
And
Detroit.
they keep going back to, well, at least they beat the Cowboys. Right? That's all they got.
Are they
to look
saying
for.
that?
Well, that's all they got to say. I mean, if they want to be positive about anything, which
Was it the Governor's Cup? They still call it that.
Whatever.
something like that.
If you remember the score of a preseason game longer than 12 hours after it happened, I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
But you get my point. And so it's not trying to be a downer, but now we're into the thick of it.
But I think that's also the truth too. You can look at that from the opposite way, that probably all 32 teams right now have a similar list of questions about their team right now, because that you don't know coming off training camp. You don't necessarily know what's going to happen when you get into the season. That's the beauty of the NFL. The NFL is not a kind of league where you can really predict it. It is a season. It is a league where going into the season, there are probably only 3 or 4 teams that have no shot at all. And there are probably 2 or 3 that have the best shot. And everybody else on a given year could get hot and could do some great things and could be very cold and be picking first in the draft. Like, that's the NFL. That's actually what I love about the NFL. You can't predict it. It's fun to watch it play out. And so here we go. The Cowboys will have to play it all out. All right, so let's start first with some injuries. I want to start with La'el Collins and his injury. Talk to me about what the injury is, first of all, and then talk to me about how concerned fans should be that he's dealing with this at this point.
La'el Collins is dealing with some stingers. That's related to neck and back injuries usually. Mike McCarthy, and these are almost 2 separate issues. Mike McCarthy says it's not a long-term thing. It's not something that he's worried about. He should be available to practice against Tampa. So should you be concerned that La'el Collins is going to miss time right now? No. Should you be concerned that this is maybe an injury that he's going to be dealing with? Yes. I mean, I don't know a better way to say it. Like, stingers typically tend to come back. This is something guys typically deal with, which it sucks that it's happening to another tackle. But this was Tyron's problem before.
Right.
Like, La'el's, he doesn't really have a stinger history, at least not a long one. So. I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me a little bit uneasy, just that this probably won't be the only time we're talking about it. That doesn't mean he's going to miss a lot of time, but you never know.
Well, and it also makes you a little bit uneasy because he didn't have the best training camp. He did get back out there. They played him more than really any other of those starting linemen, but he didn't look like the same player we saw when I guess 2019.
Yeah.
I mean. If you could call it rust, I guess. I mean, that's what you're hoping. That's what you call it. So to have this injury at this time, you were hoping things would kind of start ramping up more. But listen, he's about as tough as they get. He really is. He showed that his whole career, and I think he is a pro. And so if there's anybody that I'm just counting on that's gonna get it when those lights turn on, it's La'el. Maybe that's me being optimistic there, but I think so.
I agree with that. I hope this is not a situation where it's like, well, it's Wednesday, so La'el's not practicing because of the stinger. Like, we've seen that with guys before. And I don't want to project too much because we don't know, but I don't blame anybody that is just kind of uneasy, like, haven't played a game yet and he's dealing with this. There's no way to spin that as a completely non-factor.
And it doesn't help that the backup spot, the swing tackle spot, has got everybody even more concerned.
And we're going to get to that when we start getting into the roster, because I think that's one of the positions that we really need to talk a lot about because of the health of La'el, but also the past health of Tyron Smith. Like, there's a lot to discuss in that. Talk to me about Kelvin Joseph. He left the game yesterday after making a nice open field tackle. What's his injury and where does he stand?
He's got a groin. He said last night that it's minor and he'll be back soon. That could mean anything. I mean, this happened last night. Mike McCarthy hasn't talked. I haven't heard anything as of yet about the severity. I don't get the impression it's something that's going to land him on IR.
I don't think it will, but it could, they could do that. They could put him there because
of roster management.
Yeah.
And plus, like, the IR is such a wildly. Before COVID, injured reserve was like you reserve that for season ending. It's over. Or maybe he's got a chance. Now it's just like, he needs 2 or 3 weeks to get right. Like, it just doesn't mean what it did 2 years ago. Yeah. So they could put him on IR and have him back by week 4.
And also, that's their projection of, like, okay, let's say he was just completely healthy. Is he active? Is he one of the 46? I mean, I don't know that yet about him. He hasn't shown that he's this special teams guy that he. So I would think Maurice Kennedy might be a better game day active than him.
Oh, maybe it's in his best interest to go to IR then, so I don't have to hear angry fans whining about why the top 50 pick isn't dressing out.
Possible.
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't heard that IR was in consideration, but when you consider that it's only a 3 or 4 week deal, that makes
Especially
sense.
if it's like, okay, let's think about this. Like, he's probably going to miss the first. Let's say that they're saying this. He could miss the first game, maybe into the second game. I'm not even sure he's going to be active anyways. Let's do this.
Let's hold a guy.
Let's do that. Let's hold him. That gives them a chance to add another player, and then it always works out.
Yep.
Kind of. It just somebody gets hurt here.
Always.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I've learned, it always does. Everybody's always fretting about it, and then somebody gets hurt, somebody gets dinged up.
Like a defensive tackle when training camp started, but they got 6-7 guys. Like, who's going to make it? And now you're kind of wondering, like, do they need to pick up a tackle? Do they need to get a veteran in here? Because so many things have sort of happened at that position.
Yep. All right, we're going to do this real quick before we get into the roster. We're going to go ahead and take a quick early break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the roster. We're going to start with that quarterback position because the backup quarterback is one of the positions that everybody's talking about right now. And I will have the question for this group as to whether the quarterback that will back up Dak Prescott is on the roster or should be on the roster currently. We'll talk about that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to the break.
Join us for a free watch party at the Miller Lighthouse at AT&T Stadium on Thursday, September 9th as your Cowboys kick off the season in Tampa Bay. Enjoy $5 Miller Lights, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, performances, and more. Doors open at 5:30. Kickoff is at 7:20. For more information, visit AT&TStadium.com. It's the Miller Lighthouse outside AT&T.
Welcome back to the second segment of the show, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Real quick, that Miller Lighthouse is pretty fantastic. If you get a chance, you're out at the game, make sure you go check it out. I saw it this last week for the first time. It looks really, really good. Great place to hang out before the game, after the game.
You know what I love is that if you just put AstroTurf down and like a Star,
draws
people want to run on it.
Yeah,
they want to work out on it. It happens at the Star. It happens over there at AT&T Stadium. I mean, you get people that just say, I'm going to do my workouts today. You know, maybe they're thinking that somebody's going to be looking down and go, oh, that guy's got a nice 40 time or whatever. But you'll see people working out there, and it's just funny how it's like AstroTurf leads people to come do stuff.
Got a little cornhole down there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can do all that with a fresh cold Miller Lite. So not bad.
I'm bringing Chris Beam, our producer. If there's cornhole going on, Chris Beam, he's like a champion.
He is. All right, so let's jump in.
I actually do it right outside your door at training camp is what I really want to happen.
Don't get me started. All right, we're going to talk about the 53-man roster. Here's what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do the cuts. I'm going to go through each position. I'm going to tell you guys who I think are definites. Like this person is definitely on the team. And I'll make sure you guys don't have others that are in the maybe column that you think should be on the definite column. Once we do that, then we'll figure out what our number is, and then we'll back into the final few spots of who we think should make the team.
I've got it. Or
Okay,
Garrett, if you're going to write it down, that's
no, you can
fine
write it down. So real quick, let's just get it out of the way. We know the three specialists. We know Greg Zuerlein as the kicker, Brian Anger as the punter, and
do we? That's ironic that you started there.
Do we not?
It's ironic. I mean,
I don't know, man. Let's be careful because
that is
happened.
True. Just keep your eye on what the Rams.
Just keep your eye on the Rams.
Just keep your eye on what they may or may not decide to do with their specialists.
Because we've got every other former Ram over here.
I mean, if we can get the whole band back together, then why wouldn't we?
Okay.
I know. I'm the same way, and it actually borderline pissing me off that situation because it's so arrogant of like, let's just do all this. The Rams have let all of them go. The coach, the kicker, the snapper, and then who knows what happens with the punter, but they've let them all go.
Yeah.
But now it's like, well, they all work together and let's just put them all together. And I don't know. Anger's done everything he needs to do. He needs to be the punter.
Isn't there there's always a coach that it was Marinelli for years.
Yeah.
Bisaccia was the same way. Like
those are the three guys. There's going to be a veteran punter on the team, and it's probably Brian Anger.
We know Zuerlein.
We do know Zuerlein.
We know Zuerlein. And we're pretty sure about Jake McQuaid.
We're pretty sure there.
Oh, no. Those are fine.
Okay. All right, good. I didn't know where you guys were going.
It's probably going to be those three. There's just
something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
But we know there'll be three spots that will be taken for the specialists. Right. So let's just say there'll be three. Okay,
let's
move
on to the quarterback.
We wasted more time than you wanted for that.
Exactly. I thought I was going to run right through that.
Let's go.
All right, so let's talk about quarterback. We know, obviously, Dak Prescott. The question then becomes, who is the backup? You've got Garrett Gilbert. You got Cooper Rush. Who do you guys think should emerge as the backup quarterback for this team?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because over 1 week, everybody just flipped to Cooper Rush, and I'm just like, what's wrong with Garrett? Like, what did he do that was so bad? I don't know. So, not to say like I don't think he's amazing. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You probably don't feel great about it regardless of who they pick. But I'm going to ride with Double G because I don't think he really did anything wrong to lose it.
Okay, Nick.
It's just heads, tails at this point. They're very similar. We were talking a little bit off, like during the commercial. I agree. Gilbert's done it in a game, and he looked pretty good doing it based off the circumstances. Cooper Rush hasn't had that opportunity to do that. Cooper's been Dak's backup before. I might even ask the quarterback on this one privately. Just what do you think? What do you want? But I'll say this. If I have a third option, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go get a veteran.
Would you guys
get somebody better than these two?
Would you consider giving up picks?
Yes,
to go out and get someone
late round. Yeah,
as long as it's day 3.
Yeah,
I'll do what the Eagles did, and it doesn't even have to be that guy. I mean, a guy like that. It could be a guy that started that's had moderate success. If he's available, I'm looking to do that, and that means I might have 3 quarterbacks for week 1. Or, because he's not going to learn the offense and all that. So I might have 3 quarterbacks for week 1. That's why when we talked about Kelvin Joseph, things like that, you might have to manage the roster early on the season with an injury like that because I might need to carry 3 quarterbacks for a game. I mean, maybe not for a game, but 3 on the roster.
I wish they could have done the Minshew trade.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I thought I would have done it thinking that Minshew was in the last year of his deal. Then I looked it up and realized he's got 2 years left. So that's
on a rookie deal.
6th round pick for a experienced starting quarterback to be your backup for pennies.
That's got a little something. Like he's not a horrible guy. He's not a normal.
I'm not sure he's not better than the guy they have. I mean,
you're talking about the Eagles. Oh yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like Hurts.
Yeah, I don't think he's better than Hurts.
I don't think he is either.
I think he's up there, in my opinion. He's up there with some of the better backups in the league.
It's a moot point, but I would be willing to part with a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick.
Me too.
If there was somebody out there that they could get, absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the running back position. We know that Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard will be here. Do you guys think they need a third running back?
Purely from a numbers standpoint to do special teams stuff, probably. You don't have to. We talked about that on the last show. You absolutely don't have to get down to 53. You probably want one, right? I mean, Rico did a lot of stuff on special teams. He was a kick returner. He did some blocking. And you just never know what's going to happen in a game.
I want a third guy. And I want him to be a little bit more like Zeke. Like a guy that got some, not another Tony Pollard, but a guy that can do something. And Rico Dowdle was sort of that guy. Give me a guy that I can hand the ball off to, 10, 12 times if I needed to in a game like that.
Let's assume for a second that you can get somebody like a Brendan Knox or Jaquan Hardy to your practice squad.
There's no question of whether you can.
I'm painting the picture for you.
Sorry, I mean, not to be a jerk.
But then here was the part that was more interesting to me. Do you think that if you got somebody like that on your practice squad, can you use that if you wanted that third running back that's more of a special teams guy? That maybe you can get a little bit out of, is a Nick Ralston at fullback a better option for you?
I'm more comfortable with playing with these two quarterbacks at quarterback if something happened to Dak than playing one of those running backs. They haven't done anything for me. I'm sorry. I mean, neither one of them.
I was watching them more cllosely against Jacksonville because injury to Rico necessitated it. I thought Hardy had a nice cut on that one run.
Yeah. And they're not running. They're running behind Isaac. And they're running behind, Farniok. They're not running behind their star. I understand that too. But they're also playing against the backups as well. I
can't think of a reason why either one of them needs to make the 50 this 53, which it's a fluid thing. Like, we focus so much on the 53. We all know it's going to change 10 million times this year. You don't need – they can be among your initial cuts. One or probably both of them will clear waivers.
What I don't like about the way they play is they haven't gotten used to this is the NFL. One of them's from Tiffin, one of them's from Marshall. They still make cuts like they can get around the corner like they did in Division III football, and they did maybe even in Conference USA. They're not used to get your 5 or 6 yards. You're not going to get 25 around the corner. They haven't adjusted to that just yet. I don't think that they're ready. Give me a guy. There's going to be guys on that waiver wire that have played and run the ball before. If he's got any kind of special teams ability, I think that would be a better fit.
There has to be a running back that gets cut this week that you can put a claim in. I assume.
I thought they'd give the ball to Ralston a little bit more. I really did. I thought they would see what he could do as a running back. I think he's doing nice things on his special teams as a linebacker type, but they didn't give him any options to do that. That kind of seems like we'll put you on the practice squad type moment.
So you guys don't think that they should have a fullback or will have a fullback on the final roster?
Not right now. I'd be happy to put Nick Ralston on the practice squad and call him up as need be.
So right now, we're going to stick with 2 on the roster?
I'd say 2 until further notice.
All right, let's move on to wide receiver. There are 5 guys that I think we all know will be on this team: Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown, Cedric Wilson, and then Noah Brown. Wait, did I say Noah Brown twice? I'm sorry.
You did.
I said I was missing Michael Gallup. Those 5 on the team. Question is, do you need a 6th? And if you do, who do you prefer between? I assume it would be between Malik Turner and Simi Fehoko.
We're all 100% confident that Cedric and Noah make the team.
I am.
I think I am too. I just wanted to pose the question.
I am pretty confident they're.
Wouldn't they have played and
right?
Try
exactly.
To help Cooper rush?
Right. To play devil's advocate. Malik Turner seems like he can do all of the things Cedric Wilson can. Like that, just same skill set. That's all I'm saying. He's done a lot of special teams. He can return. He's shown his ability as a receiver. All of that said, Cedric's been here for years. I think Bones really likes him. I know Dak really likes him, and I just think that's a situation where it's like, yeah, you could save $800,000 making this move, but why?
Yeah,
why do you need that money so badly that you can't just keep Cedric around?
I mean, we started the show with you guys telling me that what we saw in training camp right now means little because you now have to do it in the regular season. And so if I'm looking at that, yeah, Malik Turner looked good during training camp and during preseason games. Cedric has looked good in games, in actual games.
Just covering my bases.
Yeah.
I think Cedric should be on the team. But again, if you go back to the pre-training camp narrative, they're looking for ways to shed some salary and get a little bit cheaper. That's a way they could do it. I just don't think that they should.
Yeah, I don't think they should either. Nick?
I think I was the one person that kind of said, hey, does Noah Brown have to make this team with that salary? Do they have to make? But I really liked what I saw from Noah Brown a couple times in games. I thought he is playing like a big-bodied receiver. They're not trying to make him as a tight end, whatever. He's just a physical wide receiver, and he's playing that way. He had some slants. He caught some passes where I thought, he's showing what his role is going to be because those guys come off the field. They run deep. Gallup goes deep, Lamb goes deep, and now it's 3rd and 5, and they're not on the field because they're gassed. Noah Brown's got to go make a play, and I think he's shown the ability to do that as a receiver, not just special teams guy.
You guys want to go 5 or 6 there?
I say we go 5. I say we hold and see how it goes. I think Malik Turner's sitting there at the 6th.
And you're saying you would take him over Simi Fehoko if you were choosing between the two?
It's not my reputation about the draft. I don't. If I cut a draft pick, it doesn't matter. It matters to them. So they there'll be people that'll be leaning that way. I think he could still go in the practice squad. To me,
I wonder. I think if you're being completely like Malik Turner's had the better camp is what I'm trying to say. If you're being completely fair and status doesn't matter and you want to keep a 6th, it should be Malik Turner. But even we talked about this before camp too. Even Ryan Russell, with all due respect to him, one of the worst 5th round picks in recent memory. He made it as a rookie, and he was not good in his rookie camp, and so. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Fehoko makes it, and I think it would purely be protecting your draft.
Because also you could play both sides of this. Malik Turner's been in the league 2 or 3 years. It is what it is. It's probably,
and he's an undrafted free agent. Like to quote our friend Brian Broaddus, who doesn't have a sponsor. Like who's his sponsor? Whereas Fehoko's got a lot of sponsors because they pride their drafting reputation, and they should. They're pretty good at it. So
upside, probably a little bit more.
None of this is to say Simi's bad. Like he hasn't been bad. He's been fine.
Yeah,
he's been fine. So I really, if they keep a 6th, I think it'll be him purely because he's the draft pick.
But right now we'll stick with 5. Move to 6 in the event we get that kind of spot. Okay, let's talk about the tight ends. There are 2 that are definite: Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz. I think you probably can add the 3rd in, Jeremy Sprinkle, just because you know that they're going to keep 3 tight ends, I would think. And then the question becomes, what are they going to do with Sean McEwen?
This is the fun thing is, again, we're hyper-focused on the 53, and it'll only stay that way for 24 hours. I think Sean McEwen he has to make the roster to be put on injured reserve. So I'm writing his name in Sharpie. Jeremy Sprinkle's a vested vet. I think he probably
sit for a minute.
I think he gets cut, and they maybe they add a tight end after they move Sean McEwen to injured reserve.
Yep, I could see that happening. I could see that being your 4th guy.
Hey Jeremy,
but it's actually 3 that you're going to put on the roster initially. And then he would be the replacement for McEwen once McEwen is put on IR.
Woo Pig, take a day off, come back in on Wednesday.
Okay. All right, so we'll stick with 3 at tight end. Any chance that any of those other guys, Lynn or Eubanks, are in the mix here?
Practice squad, maybe.
Well, let's throw this out there about Sprinkle. Like you're saying, hey, sit there for a week. His agent's got to understand what's going on here. So I'm not saying there'll be a huge market for him out there if he goes somewhere else. But, what would be his incentive to come back? Because this isn't like Joe Thomas was last year where you're the backup, we just need you to do this. This is like you wouldn't make this team if McEwen was healthy. So, if he had an opportunity,
I'm not
only be
because McEwen's not going to be out forever.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sold that it'll be Sprinkle that signs after McEwen's injured. But a 3rd tight end.
It might be the other. Eubanks actually.
Eubanks?
He looked pretty good yesterday. That maybe he's the guy.
That's definitely I can't. I'm sorry, I can't take you 100% seriously if you're wearing like 49 as a tight end. And I know Jason Witten wore it for a minute.
They didn't take him seriously when he did.
Yeah, good point. I just move him into like 80 when the roster gets cut down, and now we're cooking with gas.
All right, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to jump to the offensive line. Lots of questions there. We'll figure all that out when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
Back to the break.
Hey, Derek, whether you're watching from home or cheering in the stands, because you do that, with Essler lenses, you'll see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essler expert and find the perfect Essler lens for you. See more, do more, Essler.
First of all, I don't need glasses. I got perfect sight right now. Boy. Other than that whole old age thing where you have to hold your phone like 20 yards from your eyes. Other than that, I got perfect eyesight.
You cheer from the stands?
I don't. I've never done that. Not for the Cowboys because I've always worked for the Cowboys.
No, but like in your...
Derek's blaming us about the show going long, by the way. He's like, y'all are taking too long.
and this is
what's happening, yeah.
Right.
That's fine.
No respect.
But you're not really like when Texas played LSU, we don't have to get into the finals.
Really? Is that where we're going with this?
Did you cheer, though? Did you cheer?
Could. Yeah, I cheer for my team, yeah.
You seem like you're more of a, like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What kind of play call was that? You seem like that kind of guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way, too.
Maybe so. Maybe more of that than rah-rah team.
I don't know, though. The thing is now, like, my team, you know, I'm somewhat friends with the offensive coordinator, so I don't like to say that kind of stuff. It's like, I'm sure he had a good idea in mind. You know what I mean? It's a little different when you're
does change it. It does change it.
But defense,
you're going to talk about them. They're bad. All right, let's jump back in real quick. We got to get through the rest of this thing because I got to get this email over to Will. All right, so let's talk about the offensive linemen. We got 5 that obviously we know are on this team: Tyron Smith, Connor Williams, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins. We also know that they're going to have at the very minimum 8 and probably at a maximum 10. Question for you guys is who should fill in what names should be filled in, and how many do you think we should have?
I think you can easily go with 4 more. I mean, Nseki, I think, makes it. That was evident he didn't play. I think Terrence Steele will make it. I think.
Hey, real quick, for the guys that didn't play, could it also be the flip that you don't want a guy to get hurt in that final game if you know you're going to cut him?
It's very possible, but just reading tea leaves when you hear Stephen Jones, do a radio appearance and say, "Yeah, we like to sign a veteran swing tackle. Ty Nseki's that guy for us this year." You get the impression that's going to happen.
All right, go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
I think it really comes down to the 10th guy. I mean, because Connor McGovern's going to make it as well.
Who are the other two? You said
ninth guy.
Inseki, you said McGovern. Who are the other two?
I think Steele.
Josh
Ball has to make
Ball.
it in order to be put on injured reserve.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then I think it'll.
So Brandon Knight out.
Brandon Knight or Farniok. It's one of those guys.
And in his defense, because we wrote him off last week. Basically, I thought Farniok played pretty well yesterday. He's the last draft pick onto the team, and he was the last guy out there still playing, and I thought he did all right. So I just wonder, he's got guard center flexibility if that's what you're looking for. But Brandon Knight has tackle guard flexibility. So what do you think is more important?
I don't know. I would probably. I like having Brandon Knight on the team. I think I like him more than most people do. I think he's just got good position flex, and I would keep him. I think Farniok can be on the practice squad.
So let's say right now we're at 9, and that includes the 5 starters plus McGovern, Inseki, Steele, and Ball, and then we'll put on the maybe list Knight and Farniok, and we'll come back to them once we get through. All right, so right now, if you look at the offense and the specialists, we're up to 7, 12, 15. We're at 24 players, all right? 24 players between the offensive players and the specialists that we have that we would say are on the team. All right,
perfect. Because we're trying to go – you want your numbers on defense.
Yep, exactly.
Love it.
All right, so we're at 24. All right, so let's start with the defense. Let's go defensive end. There are 4 definites: Lawrence, Gregory, Basham, and Armstrong. What do you do with Chauncey Golston?
Pup.
He stays on there.
He's already on PUP. You don't
tell people what that means.
As opposed to injured reserve, PUP is short for physically unable to perform. Guys go on it at the start of camp, and if they're still not ready, you can take them off PUP anytime during camp. No ceremony needed. And they've done that with Amari Cooper, excuse me. Mm-hmm. No, DeMarcus Lawrence too.
He's off too, yeah.
Yeah, they've done that with those guys. When the season starts, if you're not ready to come off, it's a 6-week designation. So if Chauncey is on PUP to start the year, this applies to Tristan Hill as well, then you're down for 6 weeks.
But you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to move them. You don't have to have them on the roster.
Okay, good. So again, you got those 4. Do you think then Bradley and Nye or Rondale Carter make a case that they should be on the roster?
I don't think so.
I just if you have it, that's fine. I would probably put both of them on the practice squad. If you don't make them through, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen much. I mean, Bradley and I might have a little more upside for you, but
Bradley and I, they've both, especially in the games, more than practice, they've shown out.
Rondale Carter as well. I think he's had some pretty decent preseason games.
Yeah.
It's the classic case of, do you overvalue these guys because you spend a month watching them and talking about them, and an eye slipped in the draft, and he's good value for where he was taken. Does that matter at this point? I don't know.
It reminds me of a guy named Victor Butler who was here back.
I remember
in the day.
Vic. Yeah.
Okay.
Vic was a little better than them, I think, but
he's about a 5th round pick from Oregon State.
Yeah.
Okay. Just pretty good at times, but not.
I think he signed with the Saints in free agency.
That sounds right.
A lifetime ago when I was a Saints fan.
Yeah.
I was
Former linebackers go to the Saints.
They do. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the defensive tackle position. This one's interesting just because you have some players who are on the COVID list. You have some players who are injured. You got a player that's on PUP, Carlos Watkins, Neville Gallimore, Tristan Hill. We know Osa Odigizua is going to be on this team. What do you do with all those other guys, and how does that shake out for guys like Urban, Bohanna, and Justin Hamilton?
Neville has to make it to be put on IR. I feel repetitive saying that, but so he's got to be there initially. Watkins, Mike McCarthy said last night, we're kind of ignoring the COVID thing.
Right, yeah.
Because Mike McCarthy said he expects everybody back by Thursday, which
means they're probably going to be on the roster within the day or so.
Exactly. So whatever finagling they're going to do is not long term. So I think Watkins makes it. Mm-hmm. I think Urban makes it. Osa obviously makes it, and Bohanna as well. So that's 4. Well, that's 5, and then 4 when Gallimore goes to injured reserve, and then I don't know.
I feel like.
Oh, sorry, not to cut you off. We're probably not talking enough about Justin Hamilton.
I was about to say, I feel like Hamilton was probably going to make it based off of his body type and what Gallimore will bring. I think Justin Hamilton will make it. Played a lot in that game yesterday, though. Played into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of options. But I do think he's probably – I think he could make it.
So you guys are saying 6 then at defensive tackle. That would be Odigizua, Urban, Bohanna, Watkins, Gallimore, and then Hamilton.
I just – Hamilton because of Gallimore.
And also, Hamilton is a fourth-year veteran, which he doesn't have to clear waivers.
Yep, there's a cut. Bring back.
There we go.
Yep.
So the number we want to go with maybe is 5. With the expectation that Gallimore then
5's
moves
the
to IR. And
yeah,
okay.
5's the number.
5 is
Gallimore.
the number. And then did we add a fifth defensive end or no?
No, we stuck with the 4: Lawrence, Gregory, Basham, and Armstrong.
I'm fine with 9, but when we get to the end of all this, maybe we can go back and add an end there if we want
All right,
to.
good. Linebackers, I think 5 are definites.
We don't need
Parsons.
this. Shouldn't need any
Fields,
time.
Smith, huh?
6.
You go 6.
Luke
Gifford
Gifford as your special teams guy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anything else.
Yep.
Francis Bernard gone.
Yes.
All right.
He could theoretically go to PUP, couldn't he? He was never taken. He didn't, I believe.
Well, he practiced the first day and got hurt.
Oh, did he practice? Okay, I'm sorry. Never mind.
All right, so cornerback. I got 6 on my list as definites. See if you agree with me. Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, Trayvon Diggs, Kelvin Joseph, Nashawn Wright, and C.J. Goodwin. And then I said Maurice Kennedy. And I have an interesting question for you guys. Maurice Kennedy, I think, was really good in Oxnard. I think he had some good early preseason games. Do you think he's tailed off a little bit, or is it just the nature of he hasn't had those big splash plays, but he's been fine enough and he's going to make this team regardless?
Did he tail off, or did Jordan Lewis come back from a hamstring and go back into the starting lineup? I mean, that's where a lot of that opportunity came from.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed like a dip in his play, but that's training camp's funny because like when we're out in Oxnard, we're 10 feet away, dialed in for everything, and then here we're way up in the press box and the schedule changes and maybe we missed the first 15 minutes because we were on the show or the press conference ran long or we got caught in an elevator with some fans. Like you're not as just completely dialed into what's going on as you are in Oxnard. So that's a long way of saying I haven't noticed a dip in Kennedy's play. I just don't think he's getting as many reps.
Do you think he's a definite to make this team?
I hesitate to say definite.
Yeah.
But I would be surprised if he's not.
Do you want to put him on your 53 right now?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go with 7.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be a name. I don't think that should be a name that's just written in stone. Do y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
If the numbers get tricky somewhere else,
he might be a guy.
Yeah. But I think I'm putting him on the 53.
Yeah.
He's got to be. It's weird. You got to think about your 46. If he's not on your 46 to play, then he doesn't need to be there.
Okay.
So, but I think that's what they have to decide.
Yep.
Are we playing him in the game? Is he a core special teams guy to play him in the game? I thought he would be that kind of guy.
Okay. All right, so let's go to then the safety position. There are 4 definites that I think we all agree on: Wilson, Casey, Hooker, and Curse. The question becomes, has Mukwamu done enough to make the squad? Is Darian Thompson as a special teamer guy that's going to make the squad, getting you to maybe 6?
Let's put 6.
Where do you guys go?
Let's put 6 there, if I'm speaking for you, just to kind of move us along. Let's put 6. I think Mukwamu should make it. I think they love Darian Thompson to the point where he can. I feel like the way we've done with our numbers right now, with the 5 receivers and the 2 backs and the 2 or did we say 3 quarterbacks? Either way, I think we can go
2.
6 safeties and just see where do we stand.
All right, so we're now at 28 defensive players, which gives us a total of 52.
Okay.
We got one more player that we can.
So we kept every safety in the world and still have a roster spot.
And still got one more roster
That's
spot.
why you go light on offense.
So then you hear your options. Nick, you said earlier, do you go out and get yourself a 3rd quarterback? Maybe you spend it there.
Okay.
You could look at wide receiver, and you could pick up Malik Turner, as you guys said that's the guy you like. You could go with
3rd running back.
Third running back could be another option. Another offensive lineman if you wanted to pick up Brandon Knight or Bat Farniok.
I think it would be for me. It would probably be the quarterback. I'd probably get a quarterback in here that can start the clock early, start learning the offense a little bit, and but going with whoever they decide. If it's heads, Gilbert, tails, Rush, and whatever they 2 out of 3. I would go 2 out of 3.
Where would you spend the final pick, Dave?
I would either get I would either get Farniak or just another offensive lineman who has some flexibility. If there's a better option than Farniak available, that's fine. Or there's got to be somebody's going to cut a running back that's pretty good, right? Somewhere. And obviously the Cowboys don't need him to play running back, but you can upgrade your special teams and do a lot of fun stuff if you get the right guy. So that's what I would probably be looking at. Not a running back that's on this team right now, but somebody else's guy.
Okay. Real quick before we end the show, I want each of you guys to tell me one guy that it would be a surprise to most fans, but you would not be surprised if they end up not on this 53-man roster.
I hate that question because then you're sitting next to him on the bus going to Tampa. That's what happens when you do that.
I'm sorry.
All right. Let's bring in a new...
we want to do the introductions first?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to not answer that question.
Oh, come on. Don't be a wuss.
Answer it then. Go.
Bash him? Okay. Again, we just did it. The safety thing is weird. Nobody keeps 6 safeties.
Say that again.
Weird.
Wow.
And a lot of these guys are like clones of each other. Jaron Kearse and Israel Mukuamu do the same thing. Darian Thompson doesn't need to play safety, but he's a special teams boss.
Kennedy.
But surely somebody can do the special teams stuff, right? You shouldn't be so important that your position is ironclad specifically because of special teams. So really, any of those last 3 safeties on the depth chart, Kearse, Thompson, Mukuamu, it shouldn't be surprising if one of them's not here. You don't need, and I don't want any of them to get cut. I like them all. I think Kearse is a really underrated player. Israel has done everything a 6th-round pick should have to do to make the team. But again, it just doesn't make sense. Something's got to give there, or you would think. That's my thought process.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with those defensive backs. Something definitely has to give.
And throw Kennedy in as well, because again, if
he would
CJ
have
Goodwin,
been my guy, Kennedy, because it's just he played so great, but I don't know if he's just like Darian Thompson when it comes to the position they're going to play on kickoff return or kickoff coverage or whatever.
This isn't a knock on CJ Goodwin at all. He's very good at what he does, but it is funny. He's the last corner on the team. You probably don't even consider him a corner. He's not going to even when everybody was hurt last year, they were still not trying to have him on the field too much. But when he got hurt at camp, it just went into get ready for the season mode, And that's that's normal to see from Dak. That's not normal for the 7th cornerback.
Carries some weight, even though they call him Bones, he does carry some weight.
Yeah.
And he called him the ace of the staff. So when that happens.
Yeah. And by the way, let's also remember when it comes to special teams last year, he, in my opinion, was by far the best special teams player you had. He was involved in almost every play you made on special teams.
He absolutely deserves to be on the team, and that's the right way to handle it. It's just funny to see that, that's the status that you typically reserve for star players, not your 7th cornerback.
Yep. Well, real quick before we end the show, we do need to welcome a new team member to our team. I don't know that she'll be on our show. I think we have another show planned for her. Yes. But Miss Britt Johnson, welcome to the team.
Thank you guys for having me. You guys were arguing about that last roster pick, and I was like, it's me. I got that spot.
Yeah, it was.
Just got
it was like we have one spot left,
Special
and you walked in the door.
Roster claim.
Absolutely.
Right.
Tell everybody a little bit about you, where you came from, and what you're going to be doing.
I am a Cali girl. I'm from California, but you guys go to Oxnard very often, and there's a huge Cowboys fan base there. I've been a Cowboys fan since birth, basically. My dad was a fan. My grandma's cousins with Bob Hayes, so it runs in the family. Okay. So I am super excited. This is my dream job. I'm so happy to be here, and I don't really feel like I'm going to be working ever because I debate Cowboys in bars for free or in at games and stuff for free. And now I get to get paid to do that. So.
Once you take that step up to just getting paid to do what you typically do on the weekends, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
So,
that means it's not a job, right?
You were back on the other side there listening to some of this. I mean, do you have some opinions on this roster? And I mean, I know you kind of been watching from afar a little bit. I don't want to put you on the spot. But how about just forget the roster? How about just the overall assessment of where you think this team is getting into the regular season?
I guess I'm really glad that we had that Hall of Fame game to have that 4th game because I feel like we really needed it. Because I do feel like there are a lot of pieces that aren't there yet. Like even yesterday, watching the quarterback situation flip again, and we're wondering, okay, I thought we liked Cooper Rush, but maybe we like Double G again. Stuff like that. I'm really glad we had that 4th game to kind of help the coaches kind of figure this out, or the GM and stuff kind of figure all this stuff out. I think you guys had good assessments on stuff, but there's pieces that I don't even know. And in those linebackers and stuff, who do you get rid of? Do you get rid of any of them? The weird with all the safeties, yes, that's another.
I don't understand. Weird. It's real weird.
Yeah,
that's another thing. And then I think you kind of wrote about it. The fullback. Do we keep the fullback? Do we let him go? Like, I think that's another big thing that I'm kind of up in the air about as well.
Because McCarthy's teams have always sort of had that, but they don't really have that true fullback.
And he also had a really good one there in Green Bay.
Right,
so.
then that might have been the reason why he had him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if he was with the Cowboys would have had a fullback.
Right.
You know, because he was a really good player, kind of different than what most of the team does, most of the league does at that position.
If Shewo was healthy, I think he'd be on this team.
I do too,
but he's not.
Shewo Alanalua.
Well,
just got into saying
just
it.
when you figured out how it
figured out to
goes.
say it, and now he's
not in
Alanalua.
They're gonna claim
Pick it up next year.
another guy, and it'll be hopeless. It'll take you the rest of the season
It won't be
to figure
John
that out.
Smith. It
No,
won't be that.
Well, welcome to the team, Britt. We're very, very,
guys.
very
Welcome
happy to
aboard.
have you on the team. And y'all check her out. I think we're going to have her go and sit in with the Players Lounge. I think that's going to be a good fit for her initially, but you guys are going to see her all over all of our stuff. You'll see her doing a lot of different things with us. So for Nick Eaton, for Dave Hellman, for Britt Johnson, this is Derek Eagleton. You've been live on the break from the SWBC Mortgage Studio at the Star. We'll be back on Wednesday. On Wednesday. We'll start getting ready for Cowboys versus Bucks on Wednesday. Till then, we'll check you guys later.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?